This is registered for Safari Transportation
know.
607.
That's the address.
Okay, we don't know.
We're asking where Safari
There's
Transportation is.
not, we don't know.
Did you
Okay,
know
so the
Fuad
business is
Omar?
not here.
Don't record.
Fuad Omar?
Fuad Omar,
We don't know. This, do you see this? What is this?
money transferring.
That's it.
Okay,
Well, this
registered.
is from the state.
This is fraud taking place. This is supposed to say, this is for
Go
Safari
find out.
Transportation.
Go find out.
Yeah, we did find out. This is fraud right here.
Registered here
This is
since
registered.
2015.
2015?
Safari Transportation, state of
We don't know
Minnesota.
2015. Well, oh yeah.
Well, but it's registered now. This is current, just off the state of Minnesota
I
website
said
today.
you don't know, please.
This is from today. I just printed this off today. Fuad A. Omar.
Go check it out.
We're here. This is 607. Where's Safari
607.
Transportation?
Okay, it's no Safari, period.
Okay, so it's a fraudulent
Did you-
business.
Did you see Safari anything here?
Exactly.
Did you see?
Exactly. It's
Did
not
you
here.
see it?
It's a fraud.
Did you see, sir?
All right, now the FBI are now targeting Kenyan properties worth 39 billion Kenya shillings, which are suspected to be proceeds of what you will call the Minnesota scam. Of course, you understand that there was a scam going on in Minnesota.
How a U.S. fraud case led investigators to Kenya. It started quietly, as most major financial crimes do. In the United States, federal authorities were tracking suspicious activity linked to government-funded programs meant to serve vulnerable communities. On paper, the money was being spent on food, childcare services, and emergency relief. But behind the paperwork, something was very wrong. Millions of dollars were leaving U.S. government accounts, yet the services they were meant to support either never existed or were grossly exaggerated.
National correspondent Kayla Gaskins in Washington. Luxury cars, private villas, and overseas wire transfers. Newly obtained documents are laying bare just how far a group of Minnesota fraudsters went to blow through hundreds of millions of dollars in taxpayer.
What's up, guys? So welcome back to this YouTube channel, and thank you for always tuning in. So guys, a Minnesota fraud investigation has taken an unexpected international turn, as the US investigators have now traveled thousands of miles to Africa as part of the case that continues to raise serious questions about oversight, accountability, and where public money may have gone. The case centers around a large-scale fraud investigation in Minnesota, which involved millions of dollars in public funds. Authorities allege that money which was intended for community programs was instead misused through a network of individuals and organizations. So according to investigations, part of the money connected to this case may have moved overseas. So that's why the US detectives reportedly traveled to several African countries to follow financial trails and interview the key individuals, and also cooperate with the local authorities. Officials are saying that the goal of this trip is to gather evidence, verify financial records, and better understand how international transactions may be linked to the Minnesota-based investigations. So at this stage, there is no conclusions which have been made publicly. So it is still undergoing investigations. So guys, let's watch clips which have been trending online of various individuals giving their views on this issue, and they're talking about the FBI or the American investigators traveling to Africa, especially in Kenya. So let's watch, then I will come back with more commentaries.
United States of America is now conducting an investigation to show how the Somalis in the United States of America in Minnesota were stealing government money, and all this money was being sent to one African country known as Kenya, where they were making a lot of progress and where they were buying a lot of property and businesses from this money that they were swindling the United States of America government. According to reports, these people opened hundreds of schools, hundreds of daycares, and so many businesses that were being funded by the government. We are talking about $9 billion US that has already been swindled by the Somalis living in the United States of America. All these daycares, all these schools had no children, and they were receiving funds from the government. One school which had registered over 102 students was found not to have even a single student, and when they were asked, they are closing the doors and they don't want to speak to anybody. Even the people who are working on these daycares say that this was a total scam, and this is why the United States of America is very serious about the Somalis living in the United States of America, in that they have taken a lot of money and all this money cannot be seen where it is going. According to reports, these people are buying a lot of properties. They are very rich in Kenya, and many people were wondering where they are getting all this money, and they are not even working. It is now turning out that these people were having one of the biggest scam, using even their representative in the government in the United States of America, Ilhan Omar.
607, this is supposed to be Safari Transportation, no transportation company, and now we're going to 617, another transportation company. However, it is actually Cedar Riverside Liquor. Where is the transportation company?
617.
617 right
Dreamline
here.
Transportation for the state of Minnesota is registered to 617 Cedar Avenue South.
And it's a liquor store. David, they aren't even trying to hide that these
Yeah.
are transportation companies. Where are the vans at?
Should we ask?
Let's go ask.
Hey, we're looking for Dreamline Transportation.
Now we're in 617, Dreamline Transportation. Where is the transportation company?
As investigators followed the money, the trail didn't stop in America. It led across borders and eventually to Kenya. According to U.S. authorities, the alleged fraud amounted to 39 billion shillings, roughly 100 million US dollars. What began as a domestic investigation quickly turned into an international case involving shell companies, false invoices, and individuals accused of moving illicit funds out of the United States. Court filings and investigative reporting show that the suspects allegedly used fake vendor contracts to bill government programs for services that were never delivered. Payments were approved, money was released, and soon after, large sums began moving through multiple accounts. Some of that money, investigators say, was withdrawn in cash. Other portions were wired abroad. Kenya emerged as one of the destinations where funds were allegedly sent and later invested.
So guys, according to the clips we have just watched, Kenya has been mentioned as one of the destinations where the money that was obtained fraudulently in Minnesota was transferred to and invested. So guys, it is important to note that there are many Somalis who are living in Kenya, and even some of the Somalis who are deported from US and even other countries, they end up in Kenya. So Kenyans have been wondering where the Somalis get the money from, because Somalis in Kenya, they have invested a lot. The Kenyans wonder, where do these people get money from? We are in the same country, but they're leading a good life and they're investing, their businesses are doing well. So now you have answers, though it's allegedly. So guys, let's watch more clips, and then I'll come back with more commentaries.
So what just happened in Minnesota is peak levels of corruption. All right. We are being told that all these prosecutors in Minnesota have resigned. These are the prosecutors that discovered billions of dollars worth of fraud. They're the ones who just recently came out and told us $9 billion worth of fraud has occurred. Well, all of a sudden, right after this murder happened, right after all these riots and all this stuff is going on, while we're all distracted, they all got ousted. All right, let me show you, because this is really bad news when we're talking about these fraud cases against the Somali community. This is a death sentence for these cases.
The U.S. attorney prosecuting the massive Minnesota fraud investigation has resigned. Joe Thompson has stepped down. The New York Times report.
This is the guy that has been investigating all of this Somali fraud, uncovering everything. $9 billion worth of fraud. He found it, and he said, look, man, we're going to go in heavy on this. You think it's just by coincidence that he's now resigning? And we don't even get a written letter from him. We don't get nothing. It's just, oh, we're resigning. Now, let me show you something real quick.
5 others have also stepped away. They cite people with knowledge of the decision and say it was over the Justice Department's push to investigate the widow of a woman killed by an ICE agent and the department's reluctance to investigate the shooter. Senator Amy Klobuchar said she spoke to Thompson today and thanked him.
Oh, how about that? Amy Klobuchar, the new leader of Minnesota, the new golden boy, or I guess golden girl, or whatever. She speaks to Tim Walz. He drops out of the race. She speaks to this guy, Joe Thompson. He is now resigning. Is she just the mob boss or something? Does she go around saying, hey, time's up, time to turn the page, everyone's got to go? I do not believe for 1 second that they resigned on their own. And the story is that they're refusing to investigate this. They resigned because they don't want to investigate this. You're making me investigate her, the widow's wife? I'm throwing my whole career. As a matter of fact, all of us, we're all throwing our careers away, our pensions, our everything. We're throwing everything out because we won't do this. This isn't just. This is bullshit is what it is.
The widow of a woman killed by an ICE agent and the department's reluctance to investigate the shooter.
This is your new governor. Listen, don't even worry about the midterms. Don't even worry about the election. Listen, Minnesotans, this is your new governor. All right. They're going to install this woman just like they did Mamdani. And I'm telling y'all, I'm calling it now. She's going to win hands down. Not even a question of it. Somali community, dump all their votes in there. It's going to be a rigged election. I'm telling you, she's going to be the governor. There is no question about it.
Senator Amy Klobuchar said she spoke to Thompson today and thanked him for his work as U.S. Attorney.
Oh, yeah. Thanked him for his work and gave him his get the hell out of here card.
To thank this incredible public servant and to ask him to convey to the others that they have done such a service for Minnesota. The fraud.
Yeah, convey to the others to get the fuck out of here or we're going to have them all killed in front of their wives and children.
Investigations, that's obvious. But think of how they got us through with the prosecution that is still pending in the Hortman and assassination, or the calm that he brought to the community the day after the Annunciation church shooting, working with our Minneapolis police chief, Brian O'Hara, so seamlessly. And then
O'Hara, huh?
Whatever happened, we've lost a treasure of not just Joe, but these other prosecutors as well.
We also reached out to Republican Congressman Tom Emmer's office, but did not get a response. Meanwhile, several city and state leaders responding to the news as well. Minneapolis Police Chief Brian O'Hara has worked with Thompson on many cases. He said today, Joe Thompson is an institution within law enforcement, directly responsible for building and prosecuting the fraud cases now being cited to justify this moment. When you lose the leader responsible for making those cases, it signals that this isn't about prosecuting fraud.
What? So now, oh my God, man. Now he's basically saying, yeah, we're going to throw all these cases away. I mean, we lost the leader, so that means like if we're actually, what is he saying here? When you lose the leader responsible for making those cases, it signals that this isn't about prosecuting fraud.
The Somalians were bringing $1 million a day out of the country for 2 years. For 2 years out of the Minnesota International Airport. $1 million a day. So they brought out $700 million in 2 years out of this country, and no one stopped them. They saw it. I guess TSA and them saw it. No one stopped them. I have no idea what was said and how they ended up doing that, but they ended up doing it somehow. I have no clue. I'm going to tell you a story, all right? I went to the Bahamas, went to Atlantis. I brought some cash with me. Ended up winning some money down there at Atlantis. Coming back through TSA in the Bahamas, you actually have TSA in the Bahamas, all right? Because we partner, United States partners with them. I'm carrying like $7,000 in cash, and the guy asks me do you have cash on you? This is me coming through. Now, like, what a question. Everyone has cash on them. You're at the Bahamas, you're gambling. I said, well, I have cash, but not cash. You know what I'm saying? Dude's like, what do you mean? I'm like, well, I don't have over 10,000. And he's like, well, listen, next time you got to be up front with me and tell me what's going on, because it sounds like you're bringing some cash through here when you say words like that, when you say that. I'm like, man, I don't know how to respond to you. You asked if I have cash, I got cash. Giving me a hard time over 7 G's. Imagine $1 million a day.
Did you know that millions, potentially billions of dollars have passed right through here at TSA in Minneapolis, Minnesota? Yep, for several years, Somalians would come in pairs, 2 men would come in pairs with suitcases full of cash. It would be tagged by TSA agents, but then the TSA agents would send them to a certain room, and then the Somalians were on their way. Once they left this airport, they'd go to the airport in Atlanta, Georgia. From Atlanta, Georgia, they'd go to Dubai. Once they landed in Dubai, they would wire that money to Somalia. How do I know about this? Well, several whistleblowers have came out, and I even talked to a person who used to be a police agent right here for TSA, and he said, yes, it happened. And they were wondering, how did Somalians have this much money to bring through TSA? Well, now we know the Somalians have been frauding the taxpayers here in Minnesota. Yes, the government has allowed this to go on. The Somalians were running these fake businesses and collecting millions of dollars every year, bringing it right here through TSA and sending it on its way to Somalia.
It is important to note that this remains an ongoing investigation. Allegations have been made, but final outcomes will depend on court proceedings, evidence, and due process under the law. This case has drawn attention because it involves taxpayers' money, and it raises broader concerns about how public funds are monitored. Officials say the investigations could influence future oversight policies and fraud prevention measures. So far, authorities have not released full details about what was uncovered during this international trip. Updates are yet expected as investigators continue reviewing evidence and coordinating across borders. So guys, as this case continues to develop, it highlights how financial investigations today can quickly become global. I will continue to follow up on this story and bring you updates as more verified information becomes available. So guys, if you found this breakdown helpful, consider liking the video and subscribing for clear, fact-based updates on major investigations and public accountability stories. Thank you for always supporting my channel. See you on the next video.